thing almost went flying. It's a call to order this December 8th, 2025 Board of Education regular meeting for Thornapple Kellogg Schools. Can we please have a call of the board, a roll of the board, please?
Stanton? Here. Price?
Here.
Hilton? Here. Wenger?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Hess here. Brock?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance, please. Flags in the back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, on to adoption of the agenda. Looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Price and a second by Ms. Stanton. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, board. Our second item, communications, student recognition. Mr. Pouch?
Thank you, Mr. President. It is our honor tonight to recognize, here in a long-standing tradition at TK Schools, students that had a successful season and went to the state tournament in the season that just concluded. So we have many accomplishments we could talk about on different levels, but tonight it's all about Lydia. So at this time, if I could bring up and invite up Todd Bates, her coach, to say a few things about how the season went, and then we'll honor Lydia for her commitment and athleticism this year. So with that, Todd, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here for this auspicious occasion to honor this really, really wonderful young lady here. Lydia's a junior. She's been diving with me, is it 5 years now? We're in our 5th year? 4 or 5 years. So I feel like she's kind of like a daughter to me. We're certainly together a lot, whether it's in my car, or taking her to get food, whatever. Anyway, she had an outstanding junior year. Her accomplishments were many, including undefeated season. She was now a 3-time conference champion. She won the MISCA meet, which I'd like to point out, with the MISCA meet, that's all the divisions put together. So that's a true state meet. When you get to state, there's the divisions. So she basically won MISCA, beat everybody in the state, ended up getting second at state to the girl that got second at MISCA with her. Mm-hmm. So you never know, it could have gone either way. Both very worthy, both amazing divers. Countless records, and I must point out, whenever she breaks a record, I actually go out and buy a vinyl record and make a little trophy out of it.
That's awesome.
And as you know, vinyl's making a comeback, and it's not cheap. So I asked her to stop breaking all these records. But do you think she listened to me?
No.
No, not at all. Anyway, of course, now we've got, we just finished our state. Now we're gearing up for nationals, which she's nationally ranked as well on 1 meter, 3 meter, and platform. So that's basically her year in a nutshell. I'd just like to say that I've always loved Lydia. She's a lot of fun to work with. She's got a great sense of humor, just the right amount of goofiness. But when she needs to be serious, she's dead serious. She can put her game face on in the snap of a finger. And never is she ever lazy. Matter of fact, she outworks everybody else on the team by sometimes double the reps she does. And she prides herself in that, and that's probably one of the reasons she's as good as she is. So Lydia, you know, I love you. What a great season we had. We've got another year to go for that state title. Right now we're focusing on nationals, and we're probably going to be in Florida for that. So we've got that to look forward to. Thank you all again for having me.
Fantastic. Thank you. Just coming around in front here. Oh, sorry. We're going to come this way. We're coming to you. We're going to come to you. Here's coming from.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You shredded it. Maybe if I touch her hand, I'll learn it. Congratulations.
Now, before we move on, Lydia's parents, thank you for attending and thank you for your commitment to the athletic program. I've seen plenty of diving, and I have to close my eyes every time they do certain moves. So kudos to you as parents for supporting that, because I can imagine the nerves as your daughter's getting up there. So thank you again and congratulations.
Thank you. All right, our next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Real short superintendent's update today. It is that time of year. All weeks are great, but when we can get out and see our kids performing, whether it's on the field, court, or in an arena or theater, it makes that day that much better. So we have officially kicked off the winter concert season here. If you happen to be at the high school about an hour ago, the place was absolutely packed. So it was my pleasure to get over there for the tail end of the first concert and greet families as they were preparing for the next show tonight. So just want to take an opportunity to invite the board and the community members that are here tonight. What we have up and coming, we have the remaining Lee concerts tomorrow at 6 p.m. If you're free, check those out. And let me tell you, as I was leaving, the kids are absolutely ecstatic and excited. Mr. Pouch, did you see me perform? And they're all geeked and excited. So it means a lot when we're there. So they wrap that up. Lee Elementary does tomorrow at 6 at the high school. Middle school band is Thursday at 7, I have on my calendar, and then high school choir and band next Monday and Tuesday at 7 p.m. So another shout out before we wrap this up to our middle school performing arts, as they had their musical last week or the week before. Well over 150 kids that absolutely nailed a performance, and it was amazing the work that they put in. My jaw just dropped how far we've come as far as middle school performances that I've seen in the past 21 years. So thank you to all the staff that's working behind the scenes to make these productions come to fruition, and thank you to the parents that tote their kids along to make sure they're well prepared. So subsequent to any questions, that does conclude a short superintendent's report today.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bouch. Next item on our agenda, the public input. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Fantastic. I got a little blurb I'm going to read here real quick, and then we'll turn your mic on and be all set to go. Thank you, Mark. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. Members of the public may address the Board of Education during public comment for up to 3 minutes. Speakers will be recognized by the presiding officer and are asked to state their name, address, and group affiliation if applicable. As a reminder, all comments shall be directed to the board and not to staff or other participants. No participant may speak more than once. Participants may not behave in a manner that is disruptive to the orderly conduct of the meeting. The Board of Education does not respond to public comment. The superintendent will follow up with speakers when appropriate. All right. Mic on, go ahead.
Reading Galinsky, I have 1 graduate, 2 high school kids. I'm here tonight. I'm concerned about the removal of the classroom libraries from the high school English rooms. I have been communicating with Mr. Peterson, and he has been forthcoming with conversation, but I really don't feel like I've received sufficient information, and it's very slow coming back. I know he's busy, but it's been almost a month. These are my questions. What is the criteria for evaluating the books? Who is doing this evaluating? Because it's a daunting task. There's got to be thousands of books. How long do we expect this to take? When will a consent form be released to parents who want their children to have access to the classroom libraries now or during the review process? When will the district see communication about this to parents in any capacity? Because there's been zero transparency about this. The only reason I know anything is because I ask questions. And it's been almost a month, so something should go out to parents so they know that this has happened and what's going on. I also had asked a question about what happened to the consent box that we check in Power School regarding book access, because I don't remember what the verbiage is. If it was just library books, if it was all like school materials, but there was something in Power School that we checked. And I went into Power School the last 2 days, and all of the forms are blank. The only thing I can see is a medical consent form that I would change, like if my child developed a seizure disorder or a heart condition or something. Everything else is gone. So like if I wanted to update my emergency contact, there's nothing there. And that's where that box lived, was in those forms. So I can't check it to see and I'm wondering if that's a tech issue. Maybe that's a tech department thing. We need to let them know that that's not there, but, so I couldn't verify what that checkbox said. I don't disagree that there could be an evaluation process for books in classrooms. Obviously, we don't want things in, I could think of examples of books that don't belong in classroom libraries. However, now and always, I trust the teachers we have, that our teachers have our children's best interests in mind and are not filling their classes with wildly inappropriate material. Everything my kids have ever gotten from their teachers has been spot on with age appropriateness and content and to their interests. Like the teachers know the kids to know what would they be interested in reading. So let's show the teachers the respect they deserve and give parents the parental choice to, so their kids can have books during this period of time. So, thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Anyone else? All right, we have a second public comment period at the end of the meeting if you wish to at that time. All right, we'll close public comment on the committee and liaison reporting. I know that the policy committee met this last month, and you can see some work here later on our agenda. We'll go over some of those policies that we met about. Was there any other committees or liaison workings out there? No? Okay. Mr. Pouch, are you aware of any?
Yeah, there was the curriculum committee, and we went through the curriculum that's gonna be discussed today, and we just asked questions, any concerns, just kind of base information.
Fantastic. All right, consent grouping, next item on the agenda. Willing to hear a motion regarding the consent grouping, or we can pull something out and discuss it if a board member wishes.
Motion to approve items with the consent grouping 3A through 3C.
Second.
All right, we got a motion by Ms. Hilton and a second by Mr. Winger. Any discussion on the motion? All right, I believe that's a roll call vote.
Brock,
Yes?
Hess, yes. Smith,
Yes.
Winger,
Yes.
Hilton,
Yes.
Price,
Yes?
Stanton.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Board items for information discussion, the high school course proposal for history of sports. I believe Mrs. Wonders, this is yours.
I always forget that part. Yes, so this proposal was initiated by Tom Williamson, one of our social studies teachers at the high school. He is a new father and a basketball coach and while teaching, so he is not with us here this evening, but he and I have worked together on this proposal this year, as well as he began this proposal last spring. So we're just introducing this course tonight. You have information in your packet with the syllabus and some unit examples. This would be a social studies elective for grades 10 through 12. It would be a 1-credit, 1-semester course. The prerequisite for this would be a passing grade in world history. It would cover various periods of time dating back to ancient Greece, the civil rights movement, through modern day, across the globe, and working to build an understanding of the tie between sports and how that affects, or vice versa, between social, economic, cultural, political events in history. So just kind of a unique way to look back at historical events and see the power and evolution of sports over that time. There would be minimal cost for this course as it is developed from resources already owned by the district, and then just a singular purchase of a teacher resource book at $96 for reference and building those lessons off of that. So as I mentioned, this was approved in late spring last year at the building level by the principal and the building school improvement team, and then came to our district school improvement team this fall, as well as the curriculum office, and was approved, so presenting it to the board to add it to our course catalog this spring to be available for students in the 2026-27 school year. So presenting it for information at this meeting and hopefully for approval at our January board meeting.
Thank you. Any questions? Sorry, any questions for Ms. Wonders?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, board items for action. The Thornapple Area Parks and Recreation Commission Public Hearing and Recreation Plan. Mr. Pouch, is this you or does this go to Ms. Gaddy?
As much as I would like to think I could speak on it like Ms. Getty could, I cannot. So at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Getty to talk further about this plan that's been in action for several months now.
Yeah, sure. Many of you know that we have to update the 5-year rec plan. We at least have to dust it off and look at the demographics, see if there are any changes, any new parks, get public input to see if there are new priorities that we should be focusing on. So we have to do that every 5 years to stay eligible for state grants. So in the past, the DNR state grants have funded things like the Paul Henry Thornapple Trail, the pavilion downtown, all the parking improvements there between Main Street and the fire station, so the kayak launch there on the Thornapple. There's probably others that I'm not thinking of, but Middleville has certainly benefited from being able to be eligible for those grant funds. So we want to make sure that we always have an eligible fund so that the schools, Thornapple Township and the Village of Middleville, will remain eligible when they apply for funding. It also ends up being, something that can guide our entities, through, prioritizing recreation and park improvements. So we held several input sessions. I think we had 3 engagement sessions. We were at 4th of July. We were at a couple events downtown. We had an online survey. So we really wanted to exhaust all opportunities so that our residents could give input. I think you all got a copy. It's, just 64 pages long. If there are any questions, I'm not going to go through it page by page. I'm happy to go through the priorities or just answer questions if you'd like.
Sure. Any questions for Ms. Getty?
In the plan, are those all like done deals, or those are just like things you guys are hoping to accomplish within the 5 years? Like as far as
What are you specifically referring to?
Like the complex, the sports complex?
Right. So what those end up being, and the sports complex has been in the plan, the previous 5-year plan. We want to make sure if the village or the township or even the school decides that it's a priority for them, that it's available for funding. So it did still consistently get a lot of support from the community, and so we included it as one of the goals and objectives. It doesn't mean that I'm not sure if it'll be, taken up in the next 5 years, but it remains an opportunity for the village, the township, or the school to pursue that project.
What has to be done to, I guess that's just some confusion amongst like residents and myself and others, because we had thought that was gonna happen along with like a park, a new park, the last 5-year plan. So now seeing it on this 5-year plan, my only question is, like, to me, it kind of felt a little bit misleading as far as what I thought we were already gonna do that, and then we're just saying we're gonna do it again. So what do residents and the school and the village have to do to put that in action, I guess, is what I would ask.
So I would say, talk to the village council, Thornapple Township trustees. It really is in their court. So TAPRC, as you know, we're an appointed board with 3 members from each unit, and we don't have a considerable amount of funding. So a project like that would either be a joint application or effort between the village and the township. Certainly would take a big group because it's a very expensive project. I think part of the confusion is that they call it a 5-year recreation plan, and it, to some, that might mean that, okay, this is what we're gonna accomplish in 5 years, and that's not really the nature of a state-approved 5-year rec plan. It is just that it has to include those things. You use your best crystal ball to think about what priorities might come up in the next 5 years and make sure that, your entities are eligible for them.
So it's correct me if I'm wrong, it's on there, so that way you can apply for grants if you see one come up, or you know that this is a potential might happen, because maybe the three entities come together and say, hey, we're gonna go after this.
Right.
And then you guys are then able then to help us, or whichever entity in that process then apply for the grant. Is that why it's on the plan then?
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yep.
And, I mean, I've spoke about the Sheridan Road complex. I mean, I think it would be a tremendous asset to our district, not just, the Village of Middleville, and because it sits in the Village of Middleville, they would have to be a lead on the project. The council, over the last couple of years, had taken a different set of priorities, and they did not take it up. There was some, issues there, and those folks are not on the council anymore. And so I'm hopeful that in the next 5 years, that our community could come around and support that, because Crane Road ball fields are not something that I know we're immensely proud of when we have people coming from all over the region to play ball there. We don't have toilets there, we don't have sprinkling, there's a laundry list of things that make Crane Road difficult. Now, could we still use it for practice and so forth? But Sheridan Road was planned with 4 ball fields, a couple of playgrounds, basketball hoops, pickleball courts. It could be amazing. I will say one thing has come to fruition from that, the North Country Trail extension that we envision going through the village property, through the Rock property, and connects up to Crane Road. So one aspect of the plan has come to fruition. But it's about more than just the Sheridan, road complex. One theme we saw come out loud and clear was river-themed improvements. And that has come before, but they have been more like river access, like we want better canoe and kayak launches. The theme this year seemed to be that they want better access to the river, like by the pavilion and amphitheater, where we have a beautiful shoreline there, but we can't really get down to it. So we're gonna look at that. We're gonna look at helping the entities create conceptual plans for each of the parks that then will guide that development. So we put a lot of work in Sheridan, but we'd like to have plans like that for each of the parks, at Wildwood, at Spring Park, at Sesquicentennial Park.
What are the systems in place, or what does it look like if you say, hey, there's a grant TK should apply for? Would it go through Mark, or would it go, who would it go through? What would that
We'd
look
probably
like?
start with Mark, and that we would share it with superintendent to see if it aligns. There's somewhat of a misconception too about grants. It's not free money. It usually comes with a match requirement and a significant amount of, administration. So Sheridan, while I think it would score really well with state grants, still would take a sizable commitment from our community.
So if you're saying like the village is the one that is ultimately responsible for putting that through, correct?
The village or the township, because obviously the township is the larger umbrella. Everything in the village is in the township as well.
So do they have to agree on that? Is that
They
the
would
problem?
probably collaborate. They don't have to agree. The village could do it on their own, but I don't think that they would, and I wouldn't advise that they would, the village
Wait, I'm sorry,
resident-
you said I would or wouldn't advise?
I would not advise that the
Okay.
village try to do that on their own. I don't think that's fair to the village residents, that they, pay for a complex that big that we would all use.
And then how do we, just in your opinion, how would we go about telling people and sharing how they can
Help out, or?
help out in getting that interest known to the village and the township, just?
I would say go to a council meeting. Or, certainly, seek out the village's representative, which is Mackenzie Peters, is the liaison from the village council. to
Were you saying
TAPRC.
donation-wise? Is that what you're thinking?
I don't think we're at a
No,
level
I'm
of
just saying-
fundraising, although we do have a fund at the community foundation.
Okay, so they can donate.
They wanted to, yeah.
Okay.
I would say it's a little premature. I'd like to get some more support behind it before.
Yeah, for such a large large plan, you would think some sort of millage would have to be involved in something like that unless there was very big donations coming in.
Someone donated our sign. That was a lot of money.
Okay. Any additional questions?
One more topic, I guess, that I was excited about in the 5-year plan, there's discussions about connecting Paul Henry Trail, not just the river access and everything, but connecting the Paul Henry Trail to Caledonia and Hastings. That was another thing that during the survey process that a lot of the community members wanted. Given my career and what I do for a living, there is a ton of interest throughout the state for doing, connecting communities. I think it's Kent County Parks and Rec just got $500 million. So if you guys follow any of that. I don't know the ins and outs, but they're connecting Grand Haven to Lowell, basically. So not to get off topic, but there is a big push for that, and having that in here, I think there's great opportunity to expand that, which is not only good for the village and the area, but it makes Middleville more attractive to bring their kids here. So I think it's beneficial for everybody.
Of all things, for me to forget that the plan supported was the Thornapple Township's trail acquisition that we did a few years ago. So that is the single most miles of trail that we've been able to acquire since the railroad was reverted, so in almost 30 years. So we got 2 miles of trail. The township is applying now. They already have been funded to improve another trailhead access off of Garbo Road. So that will open up access from Garbo to Parmalee, and they're having that cleared. So it'll be walkable. It won't be paved, but it'll be walkable now from Parmalee to Garbo. We're just missing a half a mile, and that's because we work with willing sellers, and they did not want to sell at that time. So we're still hopeful that we'll get that half a mile, and then Middleville will be connected to Caledonia.
Great. Anything else from Ms. Getty? Thank you. All right, looking for a motion regarding the Thornapple Area Parks and Recreation Commission.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education approve.
Oh, sorry, Ms. Getty, you got something?
You have to open a public hearing, and is the public hearing,
I had you begin at 7:15. I made a note that 7:15 you started.
so, but I think we have to use the right words so that when we send the minutes to the state, they're all happy with our minutes, so I'm sorry to interrupt.
I was gonna have your public hearing start at 7:15, when you started, Catherine, and if you wanna say right now, the public hearing's closed at 7:28?
So do we allow the public to,
So you should ask for any other comments on
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Nope, I understand. I think
procedure.
I get your drift here.
yeah,
Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak regarding the Thornapple Area Parks and Recreation Commission? Once? Twice? What, you want to speak? All right, we'll close the public comment. There we go.
Is it safe
And we'll-
now?
7:28, we'll close. Mr. Winger,
All right.
please.
All right, I'll make a motion that the Board of Education approve the Thornapple Area Parks and Recreation Commission 2026 through 2030 Resolution and Recreation Plan.
Second? Support?
We have a motion by Mr. Winger, support by Mr. Price. Any discussion on the motion? All right, it's a roll call vote.
Winger,
Yes.
Hilton. Stanton,
yes.
Price,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Hess, yes, and Brock.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Board. Our next item, our storage barn electrical bid.
Yeah, I can speak on this. Well, good evening, everyone. So yeah, as you recall, we've been working with Performance Services to get this agriculture building to fruition. One of the things that we've been working with them on is to get the electrical up to speed. If you may recall, we had a estimate of $48,950. So we opened up bids on December 2nd after putting it on the Sigma procurement website. to meet the statutory rules. And we had 5 people bid on it, or companies, and they ranged from 37,900 all the way up to 72,500. So the leading company was Klein Electrical Incorporated at 37,900. However, they did have a modification that would deduct, I believe, 2,250 off the bottom line. Performance engineer did review that and felt comfortable with taking that off. So the total that we're now looking at is $35,650, which is the low bid. So, any questions that you may have on that?
Do you have any details on the bid alternate that saved money, essentially? Sorry, I can't. Do you have any bid, or do you have any information on the bid alternate that saved the $2,000?
The bid, it was on a ground, sorry, I think it was called the ground ring that they didn't need to do. Yeah, so that was the voluntary alternate.
Not that I'm an electrician, I was just curious.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I'm not in the construction, but
Saves
yeah,
us money,
something
so
about
that's
a
all that
ground
matters.
ring.
Great. Any other questions for Mark? All right, thank you, Mark. Looking for a motion regarding our storage barn electrical bid.
I will make another motion that the Board of Education proceed with issuing a notice of intent to award to Klein Electric for the agricultural storage barn electrical bid in the amount of $35,650.
All right, we got a motion by Mr. Winger, support by Ms. Hilton. Any discussion on the motion? And that is a roll call vote.
Brock?
Yes.
Hess, yes. Winger?
Yes.
Hilton? Smith?
Yes.
Stanton?
Yes.
Price?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you, board. The Early Childhood Center Playground Enhancements.
Okay, that is me as well. So if you may recall, with us taking on the GSRP classroom, we currently have 8 classrooms dedicated to that. Since we are in the first year of it, each classroom qualified for a $40,000 startup grant. So in total, we have $320,000. We've made some purchases in the past, if you may recall, but tonight we're coming with additional playground equipment in the total amount of $32,163.35. The one really nice thing that I think Amanda and her team did was, really gathered staff input, student needs, and just the guidance of this outdoor learning committee that they had to figure out, just not willy-nilly picking out things, but making sure it's needs-driven. So with that, they're looking to add one additional double-sided slide, a 4-seated seesaw, 2 balance scales for the sandbox, 3 music playstations, and then 2 freestanding imaginative playstations, which include a gas station and a tool bench, and then 1 large art easel. So as you can see, a lot of these revolve around like STEM activities, musical instruments. So just kudos to her and her team. So this will be coming out of what's called the GSRP startup funds to bring down that $320,000. And it is, since it is just over the bid threshold, it is Sourcewell contract pricing and will be recommended to be awarded to Sniper Recreation. So any questions you may have on that?
Any chance we can a la carte some banjos and fiddles in with that?
You'll have to speak.
I think Mrs. Hooksma would veto
Kind
something.
of cool. I don't think they'd want to hear the screeching, though.
All right, any questions for Mark?
Based on the description, it sounds really cool. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it. Yeah, I think it'll be awesome for the kids.
All right, willing to entertain a motion on the Early Childhood Center Playground Enhancements.
A motion that the Board of Education approve the purchase and installation of the ECC playground enhancements as outlined. The total cost of $32,163.35, and don't go over, to be funded through GSRP startup funds.
Support?
All right, we got a motion by Ms. Stanton, support by Mr. Price. Any discussion on the motion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Thank you, Board. All right, our next item for board items for action is the board policies first reading. We had a policy committee meeting regarding this, and we walked through the policies. Mr. Pouch, do you have any follow-up from that? Thank you.
I do, and please note, Board, that I'm acting on behalf of the policy committee for this, and I take their recommendations as far as how they want me to present this to the board, and I act on their behalf. So if there's something this board as a whole wants done differently, that is a discussion for the full board to have. And I was directed by the policy committee to not go through all individual policy changes, but to discuss the overarching changes, and that is the purpose of policies, committees, and how they function. So what you should have is a copy that was also delivered to your house by our staff, but I brought another copy for you. You should have the copy that discusses the policies that we're rescinding. So it should look like this. If you have the copy that I just gave to you, it's the only thing, oh, sorry, Derek is going to pass it, sorry, pass it down here. You're getting this copy, it's en route, and what we have, there's two different updates within 40-1. We're going to deal with this one first, and then there'll be a chance for board discussion. So I'll wait until they get all the way around. Looks like they're around. So what we have, again, you have seen this. This is not anything new to the committee. This is the second or third time you've seen it. So we have the following 6 policies that are being recommended for deletion. And you see the 6 policies listed there. Non-discrimination based on genetic information of the employee. 3 policies in 3 different categories. And then our 3 policies on anti-harassment. Neola is recommending to rescind those policies, and Neola has rewritten and replaced these 6 policies with the following 3 new policies, which are going to be titled Non-Discrimination, Equal Employment Opportunity, and Anti-Harassment, which is 1422, 3122, and 4122. All 3 of those policies being the same. In this packet, I did not include the rescinded policies because it was 100 pages. You have it in your packet, and I have a copy here if you would like a copy. In the packet, I also only included policy 3122 because 1422 and 4122 are identical policies. They just go in different categories. So, as previously noted, it is a merger of the 6 policies into one, and at the request of the policy committee, they did not opt for me to go through it step by step, but more so open it up to any discussions that the full board may have.
Have any questions on them, guys?
Yeah,
Board?
I would just ask that I'm trying to figure out where it's at in the packet. So if you go to page 16, everybody has the same pages. And it's basically the 1422, 3122, and 4122. I would just ask that the board or policy committee, because are you guys gonna meet again? Reconsider, changing the X where it says appeal decision maker to board decision. And if you want me to like circle it, because it's hard to describe,
So
like I can
you're
pass
saying
it
three-
around.
The new policy, the 3122, there's a page where
Here.
you have a question? Oh, 16? Okay.
16.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the middle of page, right, 16?
Yeah, like right in the middle, like under all the red.
After end of option 3.
Yep. I got
Correct.
I think it's getting rid of the word board's decision, and you want to keep it?
Correct.
If I recall from reading this earlier, it seems like the appeal decision maker was designated as the superintendent in this policy. Is that, am I remembering correctly?
I understood it was Brock. But then he can hire a third party, but correct me if I'm wrong. So the appeal might be a third party, which we were entrusted and elected by the public. I just feel like that last decision on the appeal should go to
So-
the board.
So you're saying that, so right now, as the policy stands, I would agree with Dave that the last appeal, I thought, ended with the superintendent, but you're saying to add that it should go to the president of the board?
Well, okay, so where there's the X, it says the X, where it's showing that it was designated to the appeal decision makers. So then you would just put the X where the board is. Where it would be, the board's decision shall be final. Because this is saying the appeal decision maker's decision shall be final, and that could be a third party. And do you see?
I get what you're saying, but I don't see where it said a third party, because I.
So if
thought
I
that
go
in
to the front,
The handbook, it said it was superintendent.
just a moment, because I have to find it over again. Right here on page 10. Where it's the superintendent and the board president, as appropriate, secure one or more independent parties to serve as the investigator and/or decision maker. So, and then in the back, appeal decision maker. So then they're saying that the third party could be a decision maker.
Would the board like me to provide some clarification as I'm getting looks from the board? This is board discussion. I don't want to insert myself in your discussion.
Can you help us read through here, because,
It would help if I could point it out to everybody, because it's so detailed. Yeah, like page 10, it's the second to last paragraph. It says,
In circumstances,
yeah, go ahead, if you're,
in circumstances when the CO and trained administrators do not have time or capacity to serve or are prevented due to a conflict of interest, bias, or partiality, or other reasons impair the CO and other trained administrators from serving as an investigator/decision maker in a specific case, the CO shall, in consultation with and approval of the superintendent, the board president as appropriate, secure one or more independent third parties to serve as the investigator and/or decision maker. Sorry, Mike.
so they're designating that a third party can be a decision maker. And so what I'm saying is on page 16, when you go to that area again, it says the appeal decision maker is the, or,
Shall be
sorry,
final.
shall be final. And I would just like, where the board has been read and struck out, I would like that to be unstruck.
Rob, does this?
Does that make
Yeah, but does it say the appeal decision maker? That is, the appeal decision maker could be the superintendent or whoever else listed above, is that correct?
So I think it's first we need to step back and remember what policy that we're looking at. We're looking at a staffing policy for administration and professional staff that, if we go back to the title of the policy is non-discrimination, equal employment opportunity, and anti-harassment. So this whole policy pertains to staffing matters of that, and if somebody, one of our staff members, felt that there was a violation of discrimination, equal employment, and anti-harassment, this lays out the process and where the complaint goes to. And the superintendent is charged with all staffing in this district. That's why it is recommended in this policy, the same as it is in our current policy, that the board doesn't get involved with staffing matters. That's why you hire the superintendent. Where a board,
I can just intervene right there. We do approve staffing. It does come to us.
Not all staffing, but yeah, some of the bigger ones, but yeah.
So if there's a problem and someone appeals it, they've probably already talked with the superintendent.
I would think there would be situations where it wouldn't, because we have other people making decisions too, especially now that we have a director of HR, Mr. Washburn, helping us. But Rob, I'm sorry, you were cut off. Is there more that you want to add to it? I just want to make sure we're fully informed here before moving forward on anything.
I'm happy to take specific questions, and again, it has to do with staffing, and I'm just thinking of one situation realistically where the superintendent has a conflict of interest. Is it a spouse? Is it a family member? Or is this charge against the superintendent? Then you would want that third party to investigate that, which you're covered with the board president in that
Sure.
clause too. So
Sure.
I'm happy to answer specific questions, but I also think it's important to know what this policy pertains to, and it pertains to staffing, which is a primary role of the superintendent.
Yep.
So what do the two scenarios look like? What's currently written versus what Katie's?
Well, it's already in there. It's just an option. It's, you either choose this option or you choose that option. So has there ever been an appeal where a third party got involved?
I'm sure I could imagine one where if there was a charge against the superintendent, you might hire a previous superintendent or someone respected to come in and do an investigation.
So then
Realistically, Truant, I mean, you're
This
gonna
is
hire your
saying
legal.
that
Your
they
legal
would-
team, yeah. Thank you.
This is saying that they would make the final decision. So it wouldn't even be anybody who works here.
I think it says it serves as it serves as independent third parties to serve as an investigator and/or a decision maker. So I think that, if an investigator comes in, like your legal team, and they make and say, hey, we have an issue here and this violates law, I think that they would help you make that decision.
I just think if it gets that far in the appeal process that, like, we should have say.
Okay, I think we've heard a change possible, but,
Understand, if there's an appeal, so can you give it like a hypothetical, okay? A teacher, reports harassment. Then it goes, through the appeal process if they don't agree with being charged with that, correct? And that appeal process would go to you currently, even if that changed, it would still go to you or not?
So I believe if I'm understanding this correctly, on page 16, it is one or the other. And that's why the other one is crossed out. And again, this is carryover from the current policy. So it says the appeal decision maker's decision is final, or it's the board's decision maker is final. So I don't believe clicking both isn't an option, because somebody's going to be the final decision maker. And typically, again, when it's staffing, short of formalities of board hirings, boards release that responsibility to the superintendent, and in most staffing situations, unless there's certain things provided by Teacher Tenure Act or discharge, and there's hearings, the superintendent typically is the end of the appeal.
And you are designated, the board designates the superintendent as the compliance officer. However, this goes beyond that, I feel like, so. I guess it would be up to the board, though, to discuss that.
okay. I read through the policy and I didn't have any changes that I thought that were needed. If anyone else has anything, we can move on to the next piece, and unless someone has some other comments related to these ones?
Normally, I would agree with, because I understand where he's coming from on this, but I know we talked about this in depth, and I do feel because it has to do with staff, and that's his job to handle that, that we should leave it at that, because otherwise it's kind of an overreach. If it was administrators, I think, you know, it's a different story.
Okay.
There is a separate policy for
Administrators,
the board making decisions on administration staffing
right.
concerns, right?
I thought we went
That's,
over
I
that.
thought so too.
Because we
Yep.
talked about that.
Just
I
to
think
be
the last
clear.
one, yep, when we talked about
Right?
it, yeah. Yep.
So it's just this for staff, and then the board has almost a very similar policy, but it's for admins, and the board is the one on that one listed, if I recall.
No, these are all the same. This is, the admin is the same, the professional staff is the same, and the support staff are all the same.
So did that change? As far as,
They all go to the decision maker.
I'm sorry, what are you asking?
did it change? Because in a meeting, it was that the board was the final,
For the admins.
for the admins, but now if that's not the case.
1422 is the admin one, and they're all the same.
I don't recall that. I recall during the
Is there a way
meeting.
to change one of them and not the other two, I guess? Your take on it?
So administration, I would have to double check, because I'm not prepared to answer this, and I apologize for that, but I'm quite certain this administration refers to the administrative team, not the superintendent. Superintendent has separate policies, and it's covered in other areas, but this is administration, professional staff, support staff, all staff that I'm responsible for. Mark, John, Megan, principals, that is the administrative team here.
So to clarify, can the policy committee look at it again? Or does that need
So-
like a board approval?
I mean, I don't, we'll see if the policy committee, I don't think the policy committee needs to meet regarding one. I mean, what we could do is have Mr. Pouch send us that policy, we can look over it, and this is only the first reading, we have a second reading to come back to on it, so. Any more questions related to the handout Mr. Pouch gave us? Okay. Okay.
Thanks.
I'm coming at you.
It's a little wonky.
Okay, the next batch of policies are changes that, again, in honor of the policy committee, I'm just going to review the changes and then open it up to board discussion. So you have 2210, which is curriculum development approved courses. This policy was revised to reflect changes to the Michigan Department of Education Pupil Accounting Manual. All these changes align with new changes to the Pupil Accounting Manual.
Does anyone have any questions on this one? All right. 22s, I guess, in order to speed this up and not rehash all of the work that the policy committee does, is there any overall arching questions that we have? Because let's get those ones out there. If not, we can move, again, this is our first reading, we have a second reading, coming. So that if there are any in-depth, really in-depth, like, hey, why does this say this, refer to that? We can get those out to Mr. Pouch, he can answer them and update the entire board, once that occurs. Because if we go one by one, this is basically what we as a policy committee did. So, Robert, are you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions that we have here? No? All right, if we don't have any other questions, as of right now, and again, we can, if they come up later, we can get in Mr. Pouch, we'll go ahead and entertain a motion regarding the first reading of the board policies.
I move that the Board of Education approve policies volume 40.1 and 40.1 non-discrimination for the first reading.
Support.
We have a motion by Ms. Hess, support by Dave. Mr. Smith, any discussion on the motion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? All right, thank you, board. All right, and our next item, this is a roll call vote, and I don't think we're gonna get into any details here. Unfortunately, we have 3 items on our agenda here dealing with some discipline issues, and we have recommendations here from our team, from Mr. Pouch specifically, and the team within the schools. So looking here for a motion in regarding to a long-term suspension. I'll make the motion. I'll motion that the Board of Education approve the long-term suspension for student 2526-01.
Support.
Got a motion by Brock, support by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? That's a roll call vote.
Before we do that, I'd like to point out that we all take this very seriously, and it really takes a lot for a student to come up to this point, and that the school district and leadership had exhausted all avenues of, support to these children, and we don't take this lightly. I just wanted to point that out.
It's the worst part, for
Yeah,
sure.
this is the hardest
Yep.
part about being a board member, literally.
Yep.
So,
Thank you.
all right, sorry about that. Stanton?
Yes.
Price?
Yes.
Hilton?
Yes.
Wanger?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Hess, yes. Brock?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. And then the next one, an expulsion. Looking for a motion regarding this action item.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education approve the expulsion for student 2526-02.
I'll support. Sorry, did someone else say it?
You got it.
All right. Motion by Ms. Hilton, support by Brock. Any discussion? Take a roll call vote.
Price?
Yes.
Hess, yes. Brock?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Stanton?
Yes.
Hilton? Wanger?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, the next one. Unfortunately, another expulsion. Does anyone like to make a motion for this one?
I motion that the Board of Education approve the expulsion for student 2526-03.
Support.
We got a motion by Mr. Price, support by Mr. Winger. Any discussion? Another roll call vote, please.
Brock?
Yes.
Hess, yes. Smith?
Yes.
Stanton?
Yes.
Price?
Yes.
Hilton?
Yes.
Winger?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you, board. Another chance for public input. Is there anyone here that would like to make a public comment? First chance and a second chance. All right, we'll close the public comment. Board comments. Anyone that would like to make a comment on behalf of the board or to the board?
Yeah, I'll make a comment. You received my message, all you board members, that I'll be stepping down from the board at the end of this month. I feel it's time for somebody younger to step into the role, and someone who has students in the district and so forth. So anyway, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve on this board, and a lot's been accomplished over the years that I've had a chance to play a part in that, and I appreciate all the hard work that's gone into all those things, and I wish you all the best going forward, and I hope you find your time on the board as rewarding as I have, so.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you, Dave.
serving. It means a lot. And we wish you I wish you the best, for all your new endeavors or, wherever your
Whatever's
journey may
next
be.
for you, Dave.
Yep.
So I got a quick little thing if anyone, does anyone have anything else?
Go ahead.
All right. So back when Dave started, we had a little time together. Back when Dave started, a candy bar cost 50 cents. Now I think we're around $3.59 to $3.99. Gas was $1.08 a gallon. Ooh, the good days, Dave. $2.99 today coming in. All that to say, Dave's been here for a very long time. He was here when I was a student, now a community member, now a board member. Thank you for all the years. I'm sure I'm speaking for all the board members in the past. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for your willingness to volunteer and try to make TK the best place it can be. Appreciate it, Dave. Thank you.
So you missed a few. Windows 95 was getting released. Toy Story
There you
landed
go.
from Pixar.
There you go.
I looked up a few.
Good.
That's a lot of years of service, so thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah,
Thanks, Dave.
you did steal my thunder. I was gonna say that, between Derek, Tyler, and myself, I know you're still young and, but.
Oh, you think I am? Good.
Well, I'm saying,
Wink, wink.
Derek, you didn't graduate from Minnesota, that's what I'm saying. The three of us, actually, Dave probably shook our hand as
Yeah,
we
I
accepted our
believe.
diplomas. So, it is a true, honor, and we're thankful for your service. So,
Yeah, that was one of the most fun things about being a board member, is handing out diplomas. So it's all about the kids.
Yep.
It's what's best for kids.
Fantastic. All right, that's our meeting. 8:01 adjournment. Thank you, guys and gals.